Hey guys, so this is a video on how to install our VoltMount screen for the RX8. I've already got it installed, but I'm going to take it all apart and show you how it's done. It's not too difficult. It's the original stereo, so I'll show you what needs to come apart from here that you need to relocate on here. The tools you'll need is good quality Phillips and a 10mm on a long extension. So I used 2 extensions and then the 10mm on the end. So there's a bolt here that you need to get, and so a long extension just makes that easy. So first things first, take the gear knob off. That just unscrews. That comes out, and then open your little center cubby, stick your finger in here and just pull up. It's all clipped in, and you can disconnect the wires, you don't need to, just move it to one side. Next, you will have an ashtray here. This is our VoltMount MagSafe phone charger, but the removal process is exactly the same. So take these 2 Phillips head out. So if your car has never been apart before, these screws are really tight and you don't want to strip them. So what you want to do is push down really hard, like force it so that the screwdriver can't slip. Push down and then unscrew. Like, don't just try and turn it, because you'll strip the screw and then you're going to have a hard time getting it out. So take those 2 screws out, and then the ashtray or our mount here just pulls out. So the ashtray will just clip out, pull out, and then you got 3 plugs that you need to pull out your ashtray. Well, you don't actually need to pull anything out if you're just installing the screen. Just move it to the side, like I'll do with the mount. So just, there's enough space in the ashtray to just length in the wires to just dangle over the side. So once you've done that, there's 2 screws, this one and this one, the 2 center screws. That's all that needs to come out from here. So undo those. Again, these will be really tight if this is the first time taking the screen out. Make sure you apply lots of pressure going into the screw and then turn. You do not want to strip these screws, because you will have a hard time getting out otherwise. These are actually 8mm bolt heads. Let me just double check. So ideally use an 8mm bolt for these ones. You get more grip, and with a ratchet you'll get more leverage as well, and then you won't really strip it. So for these 2 bottom ones, use an 8mm socket instead. You can use a Phillips, but your life will be a lot easier with the 8mm. So once those 2 are out, you need to take out this bolt that's here. So to do that, pull this plate down from the front and then pull outwards. So look, it clips in at the back and then pushes up into these 2 clips. So remove that. Stick your 10mm in. You're going to have to stick your head under to make sure you're looking at the right bolt, and then just undo the bolt. I'll put a clip in of where that bolt is. So there's a 10mm bolt. So I've got a really long extension and it's hidden. That bolt there needs to come out. What it looks like. And then after all those are done, the screen just pulls out. The stock one or aftermarket one. So here, once this, so the aerial cable on this car is very, very short, and it will be short on that unit as well. So just you need to pull it out. So let me show you on this unit what needs to come out now. So there's a plug that goes at the bottom to these buttons, and then there's two plugs that go in here. So I just unplug them and clip them out, and then this whole radio will come out, and then we'll need to take everything out here. So let me just unplug this radio. So 1, 2. So I've got plugged in, and then there's a plug at the bottom. So that's all 3 plugs that you need to take out. So I've got the USBs all wired into the glove box right now. So I'll take them out. So that's the 2 USB plugs ports out. And then this is your GPS antenna and reverse camera. So what you need to do is you need to remove your buttons and your hazard light from the original car stereo. So there's going to be, so for first, so this is what the back of the unit looks like. Move it out of the way. So to get those buttons out, all you need to do is remove, so this plug, pull that out. Well, that'll come out when you yank on it anyway. So this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw. So 4 of these screws need to come out. And then this whole unit, let me just take it off actually. So 4 screws. I didn't want to take this apart actually because it's a bit of a pain putting back together again, but it's not terrible. But if you're replacing anyway, it doesn't matter. So these 4 screws come out and the whole unit just pulls apart, and then you just release that tab there, and then this whole thing comes apart. Well, that's your original Bose or head unit. Now to get the buttons out, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You need to remove these 6 Phillips unplug these two plugs and the buttons come out. And to get the hazards out, there's 2 screws, and then you need to undo, not all of these, but let's just say these top 3, just to give the board enough flex. So once these 3 screws are out, the plug for, because it's not plugged in right now, the plug for the hazard lights goes through this gap here, and when this is all out, you can pull it back a little bit. So look, you can wedge it out a little bit and then pull that plug out. Just be careful, wiggle it out, and then the hazard light plug will come out. And then that's all you need to do there, and then you can put this all back together again. So I'll do that later. And then when you get our screen, it comes with our custom harness that allows the car to talk, the screen to talk to your car through CAN bus. So you don't need any of the Metra kits or anything. This does it all by itself now, and it's a much smaller, simpler unit, and it allows the screen to communicate with it. There we go. That's one button. Okay, so this is what the harness looks like. So you'll get the harness like this. You need to, so here's the CAN bus decoder for it. So this will decode everything the car does and allow your aircon, your hazards and your LCD panel to keep working. And it also allows the car to detect when the lights are on and off, or when it's in reverse. So this is how you plug it in. So the main plug goes into the screen. So the screen comes attached to the bezel. So there's no need to like try and align the screen to get the bezel in the right place, and none of that faffing about. It's already in the right place. It's already screwed in. Everything's where it needs to be. And all you need to do is plug your buttons. So right goes into the right key, into the right knob. This is the right one. So plug the right one in. The other one is labeled left. The left knob goes in here. Then you got a plug for the hazard lights. So it'll be the only plug left over that you need to plug in. That goes in here. And that's everything plugged in. CAN bus is all plugged in. And then the other end of the CAN bus needs to go into the car, into the screen. So you got your power wires and then your CAN bus wire. So the CAN bus goes in here. And then if you're fitting a mic or any other accessories, that's what this harness is for. And then for your reverse camera, it goes in here. So I've wired up already, the reverse connectors here. And then you need to, if you've got a manual car, you need to, this is the back button, so this needs the trigger wire. So that triggers the screen to come on and go into reverse to show your reverse camera when you put the car in reverse. So that's tapped off from the reverse light. So that's basically everything connected. Nice and simple, nice and easy. This car has the Bose system, so it's got a Bose harness on it. So it converts the signal to, so the Bose amp is happy with what's coming out of the screen. And that's it, that's pretty much it. plug in your GPS antenna. So I've stuck it there, your GPS antenna goes there. And USBs, I've routed it into the glove box. So I've got the 2 USB connectors in the glove box. And that comes out here. And yeah, this is how you fit it. So everything's all plugged in. Plug the USB connectors back in. That's that, everything plugged in. Plug your aerial in last because it's the shortest wire and there's no slack in it. Plug this bottom connector for the aircon in. I left it all like this so I can show you, but I'll put some electrical tape around it to neaten everything up later. So plug the bottom connector in, that clicks in. The main connector goes in there, and then this connector goes in there. That's everything connected. Just tuck all the wires out of the way. The unit's nice and slim, so you won't have any issues with clearance or the wires not allowing you to put the head unit in properly. And tuck all the wires out of the way. And now that all the wires are tucked away, plug your antenna in. So the socket is on the same side as the plug, so it should make life easy. There you go, pushed in. That's it. And that all you need to do now is push and clip the screen in. Make sure nothing's in the way, like this wire here. There you go. Clipped in, nice and easy, nice and simple. You save a ton of weight. That thing weighs a ton for no reason, but it's got 6 disc CD changer in it, so yeah. So compared to that, that's all done now, and now you can just screw everything back together again. So put the 2 8mm bolts back in. There's one. There's 2. Now your ashtray goes in, or in this case our phone mount goes in. So tuck all the wires out of the way. And that pushes in and then screws in. So I put a little microfiber cloth in this Gator boot because it keeps the smell out, and it also quietens down the gearbox noise, so car sounds a bit more refined because the gearbox is a bit loud in this car. And then that's it. Those screws are in. Put the shift boot over, clip that in, and that's done. And then the last piece is your gear knob goes back on. Gearbox in, Gator, sort that out so it looks a bit nice. That's done, that's installed. That's our charging mount. So that's that goes there. I've installed the TPMS sensors in this car, so it's got TPMS sensors. CarPlay auto starts when your phone connects. CarPlay. I need to drive around for the sensors because I just plugged those in. Yeah, so it's got sensors, got reverse camera, CarPlay, all the buttons work, all the aircon buttons work, so everything works. Your LCD panel still works. You can see the temperature and everything changing on the screen. If you want, you can change temperature through the screen. The mode, everything works. And it's all integrated. The clock's all integrated, so the clock is controlled by the screen now. The data here, the information here is controlled by the screen, and also your climate control stuff is also controlled and passed through the screen. So yeah, that's how to install our VoltMount screen in the RX8. It's pretty easy, a lot easier than what it used to be. All integrated now. The harness is nice and custom. No faffing about, just plug in those aircon controls, hazard lights, and plug everything into the screen and you're good to go. Simple as. Hope you enjoy. VoltMount.com.